End Times Prophecy News Update. This is Carrie Geren Scoggins. Today we're discussing the ongoing propaganda accusing the Republican Party of being akin to that of the Nazis. In an attempt to right this wrong, set the record straight, let's analyze both party platforms, that of the Democratic Party and that of the Republican, and see which one mirrors that of the Nazi Party's platform, that of the National Socialist Party of Nazi Germany. The Nazis were well known for having the largest socialism in global history. Socialism so large that it was often compared to communism, in that the socialism included providing housing, food, medical care for their people, as well as a car, that known as the People's Car, which we now refer to as Volkswagen and Mercedes-Benz. Provisions for the people that were so large that they had to incorporate large corporations and businesses into their socialist government in order to provide these goods and services for the people. This became known as fascism, the classic definition of fascism being that of first having a large socialist government that intertwines large corporations and businesses into that government. Do we see fascism in America today? And if so, which party introduced this? We see government bids for things such as providing vehicles for the state. We see government bids laid out. If this ever crosses the line and becomes part of our governing body, that which was attempted in the TPP, which was now overturned, was allowing corporations to become part of the governing body. We see in the socialized medicine, pharmaceutical companies, as well as healthcare providers, now becoming intertwined with our government. Again, one must have socialism first in order to create fascism, because fascism, of course, is corporations intertwined with a large socialist government. Looking at this realistically, is socialism to the left or to the right of the political line? Note that it's to the left of the political line, closer to that of the Democratic Party. As we've all known, the Republicans and the right wing have never supported more socialism or big government. To the right of the political line, that of Republicans and Libertarians, one sees the request for small government, less government, certainly not socialism. That's to the left of the political line, that of the Democratic Party, populists, and the like. And further to the left, communists. We see people who support Karl Marx, to the left of the political line. Remember when the all-gay regiment in Nazi Germany, called the Brown Shirts, carried out the Bible burnings? It was done so because they had employed Marxism, censorship, and criminalized teachings in the King James Bible and the Torah that spoke against homosexuality under their Nazi good speak laws. That which we still see in the United Nations and the EU under hate speech laws, that the United States has now overturned in the federal Supreme Court in the Phelps hearings, as it opposed our First Amendment rights. The federal Supreme Court overturned these hate speech laws that were akin to the Nazi good speak laws, upholding our legal right to debate the issues. But for some time, the Obama, Pelosi, and Democrat push legislation for hate speech laws had been in a sense, the law, which was more akin to the Democratic Party being more akin to the Nazi Party's good speak laws, rather than that of what our founding fathers supported. They more supported Karl Marx's censorship. Karl Marx supported working for the good of the population, the good of the people. And when this is done and carried out, they're working for the good of the group. Individual rights are squashed out. Our founding fathers supported working for the right of the individual. That we've come to know as a Jeffersonian republic. Working for the right of the individual, where the individual chooses what's good for them and how that they will live, rather than a board or bureau in government telling them what they will allow them to do. Moving on. Identifying which party does support that which we can also find in the Nazi Party platform, the gun control. Of course, we all know that to be the Democratic Party. Adolf Hitler bragged of being the nation to bring the first gun laws. Disarming the population so that they can't fight a tyrannical government. Everyone remembers the last stand that the Jews took against the Nazi Party in the ghettos, right before full gun control. Consider this. The socialized medicine that Hillary and Obama and other Democrats have now pushed through. The first national socialized medicine program came through Adolf Hitler in what they referred to as the National Socialism. Again, this was opposed by the Republican Party, as the Republican Party opposes socialism. And again, this is congruent with the Democratic Party platform. On other issues, such as gay marriage, the Republican Party stated that they support marriage between one man and one woman as their party platform. The Democratic Party supported same-sex marriage, that which again mirrors the Nazi Party's gay identity movement. And it was the Democrats that supported bringing gays into the military. Remembering that again, this was also found in the Nazi Party, the all-gay regiment referred to as the Brown Shirts. Also, we see in a move for what they believe to be multiculturalism in the Democratic Party, the acceptance of Islam, when we also see this in that of Nazi Germany. Adolf Hitler accepted the beliefs of Islam and began to study under an imam, Haj Amin al-Husseini. After Adolf Hitler left the New Age movement and Theosophy, he went into Islam. He allowed this imam to take over 1/3 of his regiments. And of course, it fit them like a glove because Islam hated Jews just as much as the Nazi Party did. Again, this is not found in the Republican Party. The Republican Party stood for stopping immigration and the legislation to stop Islamic indoctrination in the public schools, that which I've mentioned in videos prior, where even here in Tennessee, the schools have, in order to bring in Islam and desensitize the students to it, bring in Islamic prayer rooms and take the students on school trips to the local mosque to get a free Quran. So much so that Tennessee has passed legislation so that it prevents any more faculty indoctrination of the students. The Walk a Mile in Her Burqa propaganda movement in the public schools was founded by Democrats and supported by the New York School Board. a suggestion that teachers try to, again, desensitize students to Islamic views by having their female students wear a burqa all day long at school, violating separation of church and state, and, of course, state endorsement of religion, that of Islam. Again, this was not supported by the Republican Party, it was supported by the Democratic Party. Point by point, we began to see a clear view of which party mirrors that of the Nazi Party and the National Socialists of Nazi Germany. It clearly is not the Republican Party. When we discuss Nazi-style blunders by the Democratic Party, the issue that stands out in the forefront of people's minds is the NDAA Obama has passed into law, which referred to as indefinite detainment because it gave government the legal right to come in, grab you from your home under an accusation of possible terrorist activity, a very vague definition of, and detain them indefinitely without trial, court hearing, never getting the promised jury by one's peers, never getting to see a judge, and never actually even being charged with the crime, with no plans of bringing an actual case against the individual that could be proven in court, sidestepping the court process, and giving the person life in prison. Therefore, one could be taken for any reason under the guise of a possible terrorist and never get a trial, never get out of prison. The FEMA camps that so many are terrified of were set up with the use of NDAA, indefinite detainment. When you have that many, able to hold hundreds of thousands and some up to 1 million or more, the possibility of detaining permanently into a concentration camp here in the United States has been laid out and made legal, just as it was in Nazi Germany in the concentration camps such as Dachau. One can see that the Democrats again mirror that of Nazi Germany. Remembering that Edward Snowden stated that the NSA and the IRS and other federal law enforcement agencies were keeping lists and watching to the point of actually stalking down those that opposed the Democratic Party, namely the Tea Party, Republicans, religious right Republicans, libertarians, and those that speak out on conservative issues such as pro-life and targeting specifically the American Family Association, as stated by the liberal Democrat Southern Poverty Law Center, accusing the Christian religious right Republicans such as James Dobson, John Hagee, and others of being a possible terrorist, a terror threat, accusing the Christians and the religious right Republicans of being a terror threat, accusing them of violating the now overturned hate speech laws that the federal Supreme Court overturned here in the United States, citing it as unconstitutional censorship and upholding the citizens' legal right to debate the issue. However, under the NDAA, no legal criminal charges need to be filed. The government just doesn't like what they're saying, and therefore deeming them a terror threat due to hate speech, though this is no longer the law. It was a way to sidestep the constitutional rights of the Republicans, the Tea Party, the Libertarians, and the Christian religious right groups, such as the American Family Association. Again, the Democrats come out with their party platform, their agenda, and their legislation, so closely akin to that of the Nazi Party platform, one could not tell the difference between the two. The large socialism of Nazi Germany, that which bankrupted their government, is not what the Republicans have supported, nor the gun control, nor the same-sex unions, or the gay identity movement of Nazi Germany, nor the New Age movement that permeated Nazi Germany in the beginning. The Christian religious right Republicans obviously have stood against school indoctrination, bringing in the New Age movement and yoga, Reiki, and yet we see more and more Democrats pushing this all paths lead to God. Remembering Obama stated in the mosque debate, when the liberals supported Islam putting up a mosque, a victory mosque, at the site of 9/11, Obama states, "Oh, we all worship the same God anyway, we just call him by different names." This is standard New Age indoctrination, and it can be traced back to statements by the Nazi Party in the newspapers in Munich. The MTSU Student Pagan Organization, again all liberal Democrats, supporting all paths lead to God, yet rejecting Jesus Christ. This teaching of all paths lead to God and we all worship the same God anyway, we just call him by different names, was the neo-pagan New Age movement of Nazi Germany. Not that of the religious right Republicans, Tea Party, Libertarians, or the Republican Party at large. The movement in Nazi Germany for young women to have children out of wedlock or Lebensborn. This is certainly not represented by the Republican Party, of whom supports teaching abstinence, and Democrats seem to find this laughable. So much so that the Democrats, pushing to keep abortion legal, ran through legislation to make the abortion pill legal and over-the-counter to any age group, and Obama and the Democrats support it being put in the public schools in school candy machines. Again, more and more we see the Democratic Party is that which is closely akin to the Nazi Party platform. And yet, you see people claiming to have Bachelor of Science degrees, teaching in universities, high schools, junior highs, and the like, teaching a lie that the Nazis were to the right, when in reality they're to the political left on the line. Remembering Adolf Hitler demanded Darwin's books on evolution and Karl Marx's Das Kapital, given out at the Bible burnings by his all-gay regiment, the Brown Shirts. Who was it that quoted Das Kapital recently here in America? In this generation. Was it a Republican? Again, we find it was Obama during his campaign, quoting he supported redistribution of the wealth, straight out of Karl Marx's Das Kapital, the same book Adolf Hitler quoted. So who is it again that is more akin to Adolf Hitler? That of the Republican Party or that of the Democrat? We see it's certainly not the right-wing Republicans, because the National Socialist Party of Nazi Germany is to the left on the political line, more closely related to that of the Democratic Party. Remember this when you hear revisionist history, and make sure to right that wrong, because they're not a right-wing Nazi, they were a left-wing Nazi. Because socialism is to the left on the political line, not to the right. And the Republican Party to the right supported Thomas Jefferson's view of limited government and the right of the individual to choose how they will live. Not that of Karl Marx, the opposition, that of leftism, and now the Democratic Party, where they work for a collective good, squelching out the right of the individual for the good of the group, where a board or bureau decides how you will live your life. Big government and socialism is to the left on the political line, and so was the National Socialist Party of Nazi Germany. Remember this when you vote. This has been another episode of End Times Prophecy News Update. Carrie Geren Scoggins. Thank you for listening.